words. I wrote those words. I said, that's our music they're singing. So I went inside and I found the new voice of freedom, a gospel choir. And they were singing this song. I healed this mountain, roll through the fields, only to be with you, only to be with you. You roll, I crawl, you scale, these city walls, these city walls, only to be with you. But still,
All right. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing? It is 6:33. It is 12:10. It is Fed Day, FOMC Day. Are we gonna have a neutral cut or a hawkish cut? A neutral cut or a hawkish cut? That's the big question. Some guys that I talk to are thinking we go 2-3% into Christmas and New Year's, and some people think we're gonna fall 2-3% into New Year's. At least we have our levels, because opinions are only what they're worth. Or opinions are opinions until the market confirms it, which we know. Anyway, my name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. I try and frame the day, give you what I think is going to lead, what the keys are, where the levels are, how do we make cash flow, and how do we, move forward. It's been a big year, 2025, lots of movement, lots of things. That fine line has been really fine between making a little and making a lot, losing a little, losing a lot, going on tilt. So I actually created Red Dog Mindset to try and help stabilize you, give you a little bit of a routine and a process, which is what I've been doing for 20 plus years that have kept me in this seat, kept me in this business, which I've been trying to do for most of you. So good morning, everybody. What up, Tim? Good morning, Brian Lamb. Good morning, Tap. Good morning, GP Gary. What's up, Myron? You like it? Well, this is a vest that we got the T3 gave away back in the day. What up, Adam Bush? Adam Bush. I know he had the big call midday when the video came out with the news on the Alpha team. Anyway, we all have some calls. Paul from Singapore, time flies. We've been in the pits 3 decades. Wow. Congrats to you. Cheers to you with my iced coffee. It's a grind, man. Grind day in, day out. Anyway, so what are we talking about today? So again, I don't truly like Fed Day. Fed Day, you have to compartmentalize a lot of different ways. Usually you get the first hour where there's some things to do. Then things get quiet and it reverts to the mean into 2 o'clock. And then at 2 o'clock, you get the list of statements and you get a move. Then you get the conference, where he's sitting there answering questions and people are going to try and be picking out, is he hawkish? Is he neutral? Is he hawkish? Is he dovish? You'll have to watch the TLT. You'll have to watch the leaders of the day, which we'll know a little bit later. I might even do a 145 pre-Fed where are we now? So we go over some important levels because, some things could change between now and then. And then sometimes the last half an hour after you've had gyrations, you get a little bit of a trend. And then sometimes the day after, you get an opposite day to the day that was today. So there's a lot of things between now and hopefully tomorrow where we'll have a little bit of a better handle on what the rest of the year into Christmas will look like, because a lot of people closed their books already. A lot of people already have their gains. So we'll see. But the bottom line is we have levels. If you look here at the SPYs, right? For those who think we're going to drop 2 to 3% into the end of the year, well, guess what we have to break before? This is 681.57. 681.57 is now key upper support. That's the 8-day. Write that down. 681.50. If we break that, there's really an air pocket to the 21-day, which is 677. Sometimes it breaks it and they stop out and they look for liquidity, after the statements, and then all of a sudden he speaks and he calms everybody down and it comes back up. So it's get below and stay below or not. So 681.50 is a spot, and then here's 677. So if you want to be kind of hedged for tomorrow, what I would do is I'd buy the 681 puts just in case we break 681 to see 677. That's a good way to hedge yourself if you have a pretty decent sized portfolio and you're not as active, or to make cash flow. If he sounds neutral to hawkish, in order to get to 689.70, guess what you got to do? You got to get above 687 first, right? Which is right here, or even yesterday's high, which we're not even going to get into. That's a little micro. Then you have 688.39 and 699.70. So if you think by tomorrow we're going to be back at all-time highs, or Friday, you know what? Then buy the 688 or 689 calls. So at least you're framed here. Frame the trade. Besides the leaders, besides the Tesla, besides the Google, besides all the names out there. So anyway, this is really important. So again, in order to get to 677, you got to get below and stay below 681.50. In order to get to 689.70, you got to get above and stay above 686, 684, and then 688.39. Got to do the same thing. What's up, Jim from the UK? How you doing? And then the Qs is the same thing. You know what? I'm going to frame this also. The Qs are just as important. Qs are very, very tight here. This is your levels, okay? In order to see, just say, you could even say here the 21 day, which is now at 615-ish, you got to get below 621-ish. So you have this $5 kind of air pocket if the market wants to go down. So if you think we're going to be seeing 615-ish, let's do ish, then you got to break below 621.69, right? That's that. If you don't do that, if you think we're going to see 637, then obviously we have to get above 628.92 or whatever yesterday's high is, which was 625.87. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. And then obviously you have to overlay everything else. What's showing relative strength? What's leading the tape? What are the TLTs doing? What's the short end doing? What's the long end doing? What are the metals doing? There's a lot going on in here. What's crypto doing? Is crypto a leading indicator? But, this is the blueprint. The SPYs and the Qs are, the nuts and bolts. IWM also. IWM loves, lower rates. So if we get a neutral cut, not a hawkish cut, a neutral cut-ish, 252.77 could be taken out. And this is the IWM. Sometimes I like to go with the indices because, it just helps more because you don't know where the relative strength or weakness is going to be for today, which I'll know more. And I'll tell you what I think is leading what maybe later closer to 145. So if you want me to do a 145 meeting, just say, yeah, I'll take a 145 meeting. But anyway, so with that saying, here's 252.77. In order to get to the 8-day even, which you're not even at, it's got to break, this 250.10. So what you do is you have these levels waiting for you and you go. Am I still fasting? No, Jose. I ate yesterday at 2 o'clock. I do a Monday fast. Every Monday I do a fast. I start at 8 o'clock on Sunday, go to about 2 o'clock on Tuesday. It's part of the Red Dog mindset. If you say you're going to do something, do something. That's how you build your go time. That's how you build your inner strength. Keep some promises to yourself. Too many people are lying to themselves. But anyway, so that's that. So let's go to stocks. So yesterday I said to you guys, hey, will Tesla hold Monday's low? And it did. And a lot of people made a lot of money yesterday. It's that easy. It held 435 by the penny and then had a nice move. So to me, this chart's still building. It's up a little bit this morning. If you took some overnight, congratulations. Tesla's up $3, just like that. A little bit below yesterday's high. Could have been over. Could have been, hey, Tesla's done for a little bit into the year end. Morgan Stanley new analyst downgraded it instead. They came right after it, held the 8-day, reclaimed it. It's rebuilding. As long as this holds 435, this is in the game for, an end of the year markup and to be a really good 2026 story. Robots, autonomous driving everywhere. So anyway, and the pattern's building. So, for today, you have 458. What's yesterday's high? You have 452.39. I would watch Tesla today. I don't think you buy the open. You got to see if it holds or it fades. It'll give some clues to the action for today. But and then so here are your levels in Tesla. So far looks pretty good. Even yesterday, I went with the weekly chart. The weekly chart building really nicely, like a nice inside candle right there. Tesla is looking like it wants to be hopefully a leader. I love when Tesla's moving around. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Richard Judge? Anyway, so this is Tesla building very nice. Very nice. I like pretty pictures, and this picture is getting prettier. You can even put this up a little bit more. Never even went down here. This is 435 now. So you could put 435 in on the weekly. Looking pretty good. What's going on? Somebody just said the market's getting a little hit. All right, it's down small. Anyway, so that's 435. So with that said, Tesla is something I'll be watching pretty closely. I'd say Google repaired pretty fast. Google, is instead of 312 in the 8 day, you can give this to 311 now. As long as it's sold 311, I would think people are going to be, trying to see if this could rebuild and do a little bit better into the end of the year. It's been going sideways for a while. So this upper flag kind of repaired real quickly. So your new point of reference is 311. This is still 309. Google's still in the game. It's down $1.21. So you want to see, does Google go from red to green? Plebs down 4% or it's up 4%. I got to give it to that guy. Why is it up 4% up? Did it come out with the news already? Premarket, there you go. Stock market talks good. Up $1.21. Traded through this. I told you guys about this yesterday. I was on Spaces on Monday. A lot of smart people on there. He was talking about how he thinks that this is going to deliver and that you have room to 28, 29. That's pleb. Congratulations, Jim, if you're in it. I thought it was after the close. I didn't get in it. You know what? I'll live. And I tried to have a little risk down heading into the Fed, but we'll see. It was really good yesterday, buying the dip in Ethereum and Bitcoin. Maybe today you could do it again. We'll see. He is good, right, Nappy? Like, he really is good. Anyway, so 3 o'clock stocks on Spaces is good. Plab's pretty good. Some guys are still pretty heavy in iron. Iron, is taking its time. It's giving you a decent trade if you bought it post money raise at 41. It went as high as 48.91. So far so good. Not a blockbuster move, not crazy, but it's rebuilding. I think iron can still be a good 2026 story if you're there. ASTS is just digesting. Look at the size of this move. This looked very similar. Remember ASTS? I was telling you I was buying it in here at 57, 58, hit 76. Now I'm actually buying a little bit of calls. I think the launch isn't the 15th. It's the 20th now. We'll see. But overall, pretty healthy. Just got to let the moving averages catch up there. QS, rebuilding. We need some news. We need some news in QS about OEMs adopting their hard battery technology. But overall, it's rebuilding. I'm in there still, giving you ways to trade around it. As long as it's giving you ways to trade around it, I'll stay there. NVIDIA is a pain. It's not really doing a whole hell of a lot. It's not leading. It's not lagging. It went to 188. It's fine, though. I made some good day trading money there. But as far as the options, didn't do so great. Sometimes it's a leading indicator on Fed day. Sometimes it's not. It's not as important as it's been. So I don't think you could just say, hey, I'm going to be using NVIDIA as a key on whether or not we go up or down the last half an hour. Jim Calvert says T is strong. TE. I'll put on TE. I don't even know what that is. Wow. That's a move. Anyway, I wouldn't be buying it now. You kind of missed it. But good to see a stock outside of the mag do stuff like this. So, a lot of people are saying next year there's going to be a rebalance where the Mag 7 is going to be kind of like a source of funds, and not the place to be where it's concentrated. And the other 493 stocks are going to be trading better. If that's the case, you have to do a lot of homework. It's going to be a lot of stock selection, a go-to list. I have a go-to list now of 40 names that I chart every day. Maybe 20 of them will be different next year. I remember when I discovered Oklo and NEE and those nuclear names when nobody knew about them. I started doing that here. I remember back here, everyone, look how, by the way, all of these are all old lines because this is when I started with these names. So you find a name like this, like an Oklo and a group down here, you can make a ton of money. You can make your year, you can make your decade. This was your first move. Then remember, everyone said it was over. You had to rebuild, and then that happened. And then I remember here, everyone said it was over at 59, and you had a crazy rebuild, which it did. And then it wound up coming all the way to here. But anyway, just to show you how stocks could be born and narratives can be creative, things could go through a corrective phase. That's what I'm saying. I don't think iron is done. It's going through a corrective phase. This is the first move. There could be a lot more to this move in the next year or two. Same thing with CIFR. Kind of hanging here, had its first move. Now it's rebuilding. So just don't get away because, they had one sequence that worked out really well. Same thing with ASTS. ASTS had a great sequence, from, I've been trading this thing since $4 to 39, and then look how long it had to consolidate, driving everyone nuts before it went here, rebuild again, and now it's in another rebuild. So sometimes these stocks never come back, and sometimes they rebuild and they go. It's up to us to figure out whether they're rebuilding for more or not. Yeah, Poet's rebuilding too. Nice trade yesterday. A lot of people started getting involved, a little bit higher, and then doubled and tripled down. Look at this red dog reversal right here. Went through, came back above, and then, it's acting better. But again, you have to have a little bit more patience. It's a little different. But, it could be the market next year for names that you have to do your homework on, and you have to trust, and you have to, be on the calls, and et cetera, et cetera. Fuel down, airlines up. I haven't traded an airline stock all year. Let's see what's American airline doing, or what's a good airline? JetBlue? No. Yeah, JetBlue's doing okay. Trying to get back above the moving averages. Haven't looked at this in a while. What's the other one? American? AMR? No. Give me another airline. Remember when Portnoy was yelling at me, he was saying save. He said, well, you know what? He said, blah, 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 my you know what, red dog, when it was up like 7%, it went bankrupt. Good job, Portnoy. Anyway, with that being said, we won't do that. AAL. Sorry about that. All right. It's doing better. What are the Jets doing besides losing every game? Oh, that's a football team. Wow, nice move in the Jets. So it's not just, I'm telling you, it's not just the Mag 7. That's a nice move for the Jets. That's showing the economy is not so bad, right? Anyway, so with that being said, next year is going to be a big year of, I think, research, quick feet. I think we are set up for, another decent move. I feel like, it's not, every year is created differently. And you saw what Goldman Sachs said. They have like $500 million for deals. I think there's a lot of private companies that need to come public. In order for them to come public, they need to keep the stock market up. So all in all, let's be optimistic. It's December 10th. It's Fed Day. Don't do too much. Just try and be green today. If you get out of today making a little bit of money, and then we set the tone Wednesday, Thursday into what could happen into Christmas and New Year's, that's a win-win-win across the board. As far as, China, kidding. Baidu has been better. Again, but look how crazy that is, where, looked good Baidu here, and then a big gap down trap. That's a pain in the butt. What's KWeb doing? I haven't looked at KWeb in a little while. Not a whole hell of a lot. There was a move in China this year. It's not acting so special. If you think there's alpha for next year, I'll go over that on my 2026 report. Low, higher low. It's fair at best. The China names, there's so much to deal with there. So I don't think that, I think you can find more than enough opportunities here than be looking for these Chinese names everywhere. Everyone was all over JD. Look at this friggin' piece of junk. I had to buy every single dip during this active sequence to make, a decent amount of money, and look at it here. Don't focus on the Chinese names. There's more than enough names unless they're super duper special. Anyway, it's 6:51. Like I said before, multiple moves throughout the course of a Fed day. A lot of fake outs. Don't get faked out. Have your levels. Get above and stay above is one way. Get below and stay below is another way. Here's a chart of the SPYs. Write down your levels. Get prepared. There will be, a lot of people are asking me to do this video that I do for free, which I've been doing for free since 2020 on Fridays in 2026, and I will. But you have to subscribe above on Twitter to Red Dog Mindset. If you want the 6:30 Club on Fridays and you want to continue to be able to watch it Monday through Thursday, $10 a month, which is not a lot of money. This cost me $5 today, one day. That's $50 in iced coffees a week that I spend. You can spend $10 for a month to get all my charts, all the ideas, 20 minutes of levels and thoughts besides the 25-20, which helps get your mind right. Pre-game. And if not, that's cool too. I understand, it's tough out there. But with that said, I appreciate you for tuning in. 6:52, I'm going to do my 40 charts with the Alpha team. We are doing an open house, by the way. We are doing an open house the week of Christmas. Remember that? I'm going to be doing an open house that Monday through Wednesday because I'll be in town. Chase has got basketball games. If you're a varsity basketball player, you're not allowed to go away. So I will be here all through the holidays, trying to, rub some shekels together and make some money. And there'll be an open house for the Alpha team. So if you want to be in the Alpha team for 3 days for free and hang out, listen to me on the radio, interact with the Alpha dogs that, that lead the ship like gladiators out there. There are a lot of great guys in the Alpha team that know what they're doing. They trade for a living. You guys could join, and I wish you a nice day too, Mommy Money. The subscription is only through X. If you're on YouTube, maybe next year we'll figure out how to do it on YouTube also. Anyway, with that said, somebody just asked me, why is Microsoft down? Let's see, how much is it down? Is it really down? It's down 5. I don't know. Microsoft's been really tough. Microsoft had that news, where all of a sudden, it came in because they said something about their software sales slowing and that everything got hit. I was long it, and then that happened, and then it made a higher low, and now it's trying to build this lower level. Thank goodness. It closed pretty strong yesterday, so I think some traders are probably long it, which kind of is annoying. I feel bad. I'm not in it. It's been a battleground, but here's 487. So as long as I say Microsoft holds 484-ish, I would stay with it. If it breaks that, I'd be careful. Cheers to you guys. Happy Fed Day. Good luck. Be prepared. Don't give back money today. Today's a tough day trading wise. It really is, in my opinion. There's opportunities trading the ranges, but they try to do every which way to stop you out of your shorts, stop you out of your longs before we get some kind of trend into the end of the day sometimes that then sometimes reverses tomorrow. So I don't like this sometimes. I like an 11 versus 6 in blackjack, or pocket kings in Texas Hold'em. Anyway, good luck today, guys. I appreciate you.